Hello, everybody! Welcome to Shithole, the show where everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong. I'm your host, Chuck Tastic, and with me is my guest, the one, the only, insomniac, Sir Devin.
I don't get a cool nickname?
Yeah, you're Sir Devin of the Islands.
Technically it's one island, but alright, I'll take it.
Okay. Whew, that was close. I didn't know how that was going to go. So how's it going, man? Everything going well? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, for everyone in the chat, I'll try to be taking questions as we go, if you would like to ask Devin anything. Another thing I just want to talk about real quick. Have you noticed since they've changed the Booktube subscription algorithm, any changes when you try to watch Booktube?
You mean now that it's they're trying to predict which one you actually want to watch and not chronological?
Yeah.
Honestly, not that much of a difference. Most times when I'm watching Booktube, I look for specific channels. I don't use a subfeed very often.
Because, there are certain channels I watch and I, ring the bell so I get notifications when they upload a video. I'm not even getting my notifications anymore.
Oh, really?
I'm getting some, but not all. So, we're gonna nerd out here for a second. So, I always get my Wrestle Talk notifications, you know?
Okay.
But, on the smaller channels I watch, I don't get them.
So you're not watching any of my new videos?
Waka waka.
I really should get back to doing those.
Yeah, I was gonna... So, if anyone in the chat knows what I'm talking about, if this has been happening to you too, let me know. There is a small possibility it could be because I haven't updated my phone since Nixon was in office. So, that could be the problem. But, what's going on with your videos, man? What's happening?
Nothing. I've been absolutely, flat out for the past... Well, since, 2 weeks after I came back from my last little break from Booktube. A lot of writing, a lot of editing, lots of planning. I don't know what it is. I just couldn't... There's a couple times I tried recording some things, but I never really liked how they turned out, so it never actually became a video out of it.
Right on. Eric, I did click the bells, and I'm not getting them. I'm getting some. I'm getting bigger channels, but not smaller channels. So, let me talk to you about this, because I think you're the first person I've had on where this could be talked about. When you haven't made a video in a while, what kind of pressure do you feel?
That's a very good question, sir. It's kind of like when you have to go to the doctor, and you know you got to go to the doctor, but it's been 2 weeks, and it's like, you know what? No, I'll put it off. And the longer it goes off, the harder it is to come back. Or
yeah,
it's like, oh man, I haven't done a video in 2 weeks. I really should do something. And then you hash together something, looks like or sounds like crap. So I'm like, no, I'll do something later. And then the longer it goes, the more pressure it is to have a good video when you do come back. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you need to just stop caring.
Oh, I'm aware of that. I said I feel like these pressures exist. I don't let them control me. I've just been mainly a zombie for the past like month or so.
Yeah, if I was back to editing my videos and trying to make them look fun or whatever, I would probably do like a video every 2 weeks. So I just decided that I didn't care anymore. Okay, let's see. Amy from Dusty Bookshelf says, I've been getting notifications for all the channels. I have the bell clicked for ... I think. Well, now you need to look at it, Amy. Harriet Rosie says, we spoke a couple months ago, and I know you were intending on coming back. It's coming back soon at that point. I had a break before, and it can be hard to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, I think since me and Harriet talked, I did come back. Had a couple of videos up. I even did a new kind of review format, and I actually really like it, so I'm going to keep going on with that. But I hit basically the same problem that caused the original break in the first place, where I had this like bit of a, I guess, crisis of faith of whether I'm a writer who does Booktube or a Booktuber who writes, and I found I was doing more focusing on trying to get videos up than I was getting the book done. So it's like I just had to dive right into my edits to make sure that was all done, and now that that's in the past, I probably will be back to Booktube really soon.
Wow. You just like blew my mind, sir.
Really?
A booktuber who writes or a writer who does Booktube?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Wow, man.
At first, well, when I came to Booktube originally, it was I'm a writer, I'm a hopeful, soon-to-be author who is going to do Booktube videos as part of this author platform.
Yeah.
But then that kind of shifted, like, to where I was putting, like, 80% of my time into Booktube and 20% into writing. And, you know, that didn't gel really well with where I wanted to be.
Wow. Yeah, because, like, I think I started my Booktube channel because I just really wanted to find anyone I could talk to about the crap I was reading that nobody else read. And I'm like going, there's got to be people. And I've found people who read some of the extremely fun stuff I read. So that's been cool. But I'm trying to figure out, like, do you think there are any authors on Booktube who do it right? Who have, like, a good balance?
I don't know if it would count as Booktube, but I would probably say Jenna Moressi's doing it right. Yeah. She has a huge YouTube audience, and again, I think she's indie publishing, but yeah, like she puts out these these writing videos and such, and again has a massive following, which, you know, not to knock her writing ability, but that has a huge role to play in how successful her books have become. Yeah, I can't think of any offhand. Like, the people that come to mind are people like Derek Murphy, but they're not really booktubers. They're literally just authors that are doing YouTube videos on writing and into business. So, in terms of booktube, I can't really think of any more besides Jenna, off the top of my head, anyway.
Harriet asks, how do you intend for Booktube to help with your author platform?
Well,
boom.
That's not a bad question.
Harriet's dropping mics and breaking hearts. What the hell's going on over here?
Basically, okay, on the surface, looking at it from a writer perspective, a lot of writers get into this like mindset of they join a bunch of writing groups, they get a lot of author friends, and then it kind of just becomes a bit of a circle jerk of everybody buying the books of their buddies. Booktube is a place that is populated strictly, for the most part, strictly with readers. So having a platform where you have, even where I'm at now, like 400, I think 430 subs what I have now, even that is still majority a bunch of readers. And those are the kind of people you want to know who you are. So even if a fraction of them were to buy a book, that's still something that's going to help with the Amazon algorithms and so on and so forth. But it's about finding the right audience.
Yeah.
So Booktube has that built-in core following of people that just consume books for fun.
Yeah. Zoe and I had a podcast for a long time, and we were not necessarily anyone who's actually looking for fiction. So, like, after about, 2 years, we just kind of slowly stopped doing the podcast.
Yeah, you get that trap with a lot of writing podcasts in particular. You'll find that even ones that get large followings, like the one I listen to is the Dead Robot Society, but then you got Murray Lafferty's I Should Be Writing, even the self-publishing podcast guys. They all have these platforms where it's writers coming to them, so they end up with this great network of other writers, and it's really good for connecting with other people. So they end up with this network of writers, and that doesn't necessarily translate to sales, because again, then you have people that you can work with, you have people that you can collab with, co-write books, enter story bundles, things like this. So it is important for authors to have that, but most of these people are too busy writing their own stuff to really be the kind of people to go to always buy your work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't even know if SPP is still on.
You mentioned that.
Yeah, I looked for it the other day and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I checked everywhere. I can't find it anywhere. I can't find anything. Even the Sterling's own website doesn't have any information about it. So I don't know what happened.
So weird. That is weird. That's kind of like I don't know, I guess the day Kennedy was shot, or the day Michael Jackson died. It's kind of weird. Crickets.
Yeah, sorry. I have no idea what just happened there. I did not hear the last at least 10 seconds of what you just said.
Oh no. I just said it was like when Michael Jackson died. You know?
Oh yeah, okay.
It's just weird. Everyone...
Weird or nobody heard of it?
I don't know. Just I don't know if everyone just assumed, or if I just assumed Michael Jackson would live forever. He wasn't human. He wasn't mortal. And then he died.
Well, there's a difference between perpetual child and immortal. I mean, it's not the same thing.
Tell me how you really feel.
Michael Jackson?
I'm just kidding, dude. So, you're saying, let's see, Johnny B. Truant is a perpetual child? I'm joking, dude.
No. Maybe not Johnny, but that might apply to someone else on that podcast.
Ooh. I was shocked when Steve Irwin died. Yeah, especially how he died. Oh, dude, I was shook when he died. Yeah. That was just crazy. Weird. Okay, so, we've talked a little bit about Booktube and a little bit about you being a writer, so let's talk about your writing. So, you had a book just come out, yeah? Yeah. And it was on time, right?
It was on time. There's still things I gotta fix and upload before people actually download it and read it, but yes, it is available and it was put up on deadline.
Okay, so the book is called, or the series is called Krugers.
Yes.
Would you like to explain that to the people watching?
The elevator pitch that I've been using for it is essentially, imagine if Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street was not a one-off kind of being that happened. And instead of Freddy Krueger being this unique entity, a Krueger being a type of creature that exists in this dream world. So, each Krueger, they look differently, they have different abilities, different behaviors, and they're just a thing that's kind of preys upon people in their dreams. And this, I don't want to go too much into like the other side of the story because that's like in further books.
Yeah.
But yeah, it follows basically 16-year-old kids basically having to deal with the Kruger.
Okay, and this is kind of like a weird kind of fence that you're walking on here with it being so close to a property that's out there, and like it's not fan fiction, but it's like something that people know what the property is based on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how did you go about
the line between copyright infringement and an homage, basically. And it depends on if someone from New Line Cinema gets his hands on the book and sends me a cease and desist or not. But in terms of where that falls on that spectrum, though, the only thing really that would be enforceable, say legally, that at least as far as I'm aware, I'm not a lawyer, but would be the name. So they could technically make me change the name. It is spelled a little differently, but it's clearly a nod to their licensed property of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to get a letter from New Line saying this is our IP, cease and desist. Then I just would change the name, because everything else within the story is its own work. It's clearly a tribute, clearly a love letter to Wes Craven's movies. Well, the first one and the third one. But it's not so much that I would think it would fall within, copyright infringement, because you can't copyright an idea. The idea of a monster in your dreams cannot necessarily be copyrighted by somebody.
Yeah.
But the name certainly can.
And you spelt it differently, so I think you're kind of in the clear at that point.
Well, I took out an E. It's Kruger instead of Krueger.
Yeah.
So it's not a big difference, but it is slightly different.
So for everyone out there who can't spell, it's exactly the same.
Minus one vowel that you don't hear anyway.
That's awesome. So there's 6 books in the series, is that right?
Yeah. When I originally wrote them, it was meant to be a serialized story told episodically, kind of like the self-publishing podcast guys did with their books, where it was going to be 6 episodes of this season-long story. So again, using television terms for the way the narrative is presented. And I wrote all 6 of them. They were about 20,000 word novellas, and I was really proud. I was just coming off the high of winning a literary award for my first novel, and thought I could do no wrong. And then I sent the first one to get professionally edited, and was absolutely trashed. It was like, there's no story here whatsoever. So I still think it's still going to be 6 segments long of the story arc, but they're a bit beefier than they were before.
Wow. So the editor really gave it to you?
Oh yeah, but she's awesome. Jennifer is an amazing editor. The story, like I said, I was coming off this high of just winning an award for my first novel, so I was like, man, I'm a good writer. I can write amazing stories. This is going to be awesome. And I just spat it out. But it was 20,000 words of build up to the rest of the books, with nothing really going down in that first one.
Yeah.
So it's like it was a skeleton of a story. Like I said on videos before, she came back and basically said this is a glorified outline to what could be a good story. So I went back to the drawing board, and now it went from 20,000 words to about 45.
Yeah, that's really hard when you're trying to really build a world, and you have all these ideas and everything, and you're just trying to get everyone up to speed so you could start giving them good shit. You know what I'm saying? It's that whole first book in a series, itis or something.
Yeah, you're so excited about getting dropping these little hints at So that when people get to the fourth book, they're like, oh man, that was in the first one. They thought about this way back when.
Yeah.
And that's all you concern yourself with? Not the fact of making the first story good enough that they even want to get to the second book, let alone the fourth.
Yeah. That's the worst. For anybody out there, you should really try to go in knowing that you can change things and it's gonna be okay. You know, like, don't be married to your manuscript so much that you can't move things around and change stuff. Oh,
yeah. I can easily attest to that because it's something else I've said before. Technically, Corbin, the first book, this should have been well over a year ago. Like the version that's out now basically was done about a year ago. But I keep going back and not being satisfied with this and with that, and I want to change around this, and like I've analyzed it to death to the point where it's like you just got to get it out there. You got to put it out, and you know, if you did screw up on some things, you know, the people that will buy it will let you know, and then you apply that to your next book. Don't spend 4, 5, 6, 7 years on a single story because you're never going to get any better just reworking the same thing. It's crafting these stories from start to the finish and making something of it. That's where you really, you know, hone your craft.
So where can people find this?
It's on Amazon right now. It's in Kindle Unlimited, so it's exclusive to Amazon on ebook. Amazon.com. Just search Devin Lee or Kruger's. It should come up.
And when's the next one coming out?
I'm thinking 2023, maybe.
I think I'm going to ask you every day.
I would not doubt you would do that. My goal, when I'm like into it, is to try and get them out every, say, 3 or 4 months. But it's going to be a bit of a process to get me up to that level. So realistically, I'm hoping to get it out before, like, by the end of December. So, like, within the next 6 months, have the second book out.
Nice.
I've already said in the first book, at the end of Kruger's, there's a link to the MailChimp mailing list, and anybody sign up with that's getting the second book for free. So I already got the cover revealed in there as well, and yeah, so I want to have that for people by the end of the year.
Nice. Do you have all the covers done already?
I have the first 3, because it was cheaper to order 3 at once. They gave me a discount on it.
Cool. Right on. So as far as you doing Booktube, when did you actually start your channel?
Started my channel, I can't remember the exact date. I believe it was the middle of May, 2 years ago. So I literally, a couple of weeks ago, just passed my 2-year anniversary. And again, oddly enough, I found it from a writing podcast. I was listening to the Rocking Self-Publishing podcast, and P.T. Hilton was on, and he was talking about Booktube, and that's what led me over to find it.
Now, when you started your channel, you started it with, in your head, this being something to help your author platform, like you said earlier, right?
Yeah. Basically, step 1, build an audience. Step 2, let them, like, have an audience that knows who you are. You know, step 3, profit. They'll buy my book.
So have you been working on all the Kruger books since before you started your Booktube channel?
Oh, yeah. That aforementioned award I mentioned earlier, one that's, well, it was 3 years ago now in May, or not May, in February. It was announced in May. The moment I won that, I realized it was good. I like it, and it's something I do want to put out there. But where it's going on 90,000 words, it's like on a cheap end, 4 figures to edit it. So it's like, I'm going to put out these short little novellas because it's going to be cheap to edit these. So yeah, I've been working on Kruger's now for about pretty much since then. So going on 3 years.
What book did you get the award for?
That was a book called Waking Ambrose. It's a full-length novel, like I said. It's about 90,000 words. Um, I'm still not really good with the elevator pitch for that one because it's kind of all over the place. It's one of those books I wrote where I just wrote the story without a concept in mind, so it kind of just went kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But I submitted it to this provincial governmental literary thing, and this is why I got the initiative to actually take my writing seriously. This award usually goes to like long novels about squid jigging or cod fishing, like literary pieces that takes place in Newfoundland. When I found out that I got it for mine, it's like basically it's a genre story. It's straight up urban fantasy, but all the awards always used to go to literary works. So winning that is like, okay, I must be doing something right, and then that's how I got to where I am now.
Is that book up on Amazon?
No, that I'm waiting until after at least the third Kruger book is out, because it's going to be so expensive to get that edited, and it does need an edit. I preach too much about how indies should always get professional edits done. That would be very hypocritical for me to put it up otherwise.
Editing's for chumps.
Well, we can't all be CC Walls here.
I'm just kidding. Editing's good. Everyone should edit.
At the very least, the first, say 4 or 5 books, get story edits done. That way, you can probably start seeing where you're weak. Like, your editor will come back over the books, and you'll probably have the same issues going through, and then you can recognize it, and it makes it easier to see it. Then you could probably just go with like line edits and copy edits instead. But for the first, at least 4 or 5 books, I'd say, get a full developmental edit done. For those wannabe writers out there.
Yeah. I've never worked with a developmental editor before. That might be interesting.
I'd highly recommend it.
Well, nothing's worse, though, than your mom calling you and saying, on page 242, it says her, and it should say him. And then you're like, fuck, she's reading the paperback. And there's a mistake in it. Fuck. Oh, see, so bad.
That's better. At least she's giving you criticism. My mom is just like, oh my god, I loved it. It was so awesome. You were so... Okay, but what was wrong with it? Oh, it was so great. It was so awesome. Okay, you're not helping.
See, that's funny, because like my mom will tell me everything that's wrong with it. And then just go, oh, that was good. Yeah.
Oh, my mom will tell her friends or my dad what she thought was wrong with it, but she won't tell me because it's discouraging. Like,
oh my gosh.
That's not why I give it to you.
This is going to make my mom sound awful, but Zoe said last night that my mom is very similar to the mom on Arrested Development, but she's just a little nicer. So, that my mom's a little nicer. So, yeah. So that's a thing. What kind of videos do you like to do more than any other?
Me, for Booktube?
No, for your porn career.
Oh, I thought that was for the other stream.
Yeah, for Booktube.
There's a reason I stay behind this cartoon, sir. This is my pen name.
Said. Okay.
Truth be told, other than tags, I actually like them all pretty much. They all feel the same, because whether I'm doing a review or a discussion, it's still the same thing of, I still structure them the same. The process is basically the same. So, because even with a review, I try to put insight into it that the same as I would with a discussion one.
Yeah.
If I want to get like superficial, I'll say, "Oh, I love doing the discussion videos better because they get more views and they get more attention." But in terms of just pure enjoyment for making them, they're pretty much all the same with the exception of tags. I still will do tags because I feel it is polite to do so, and people do enjoy them, and I do get tagged, and I'm tagged in like a dozen that gotta get done. But for the most part, I do them as an obligatory part of being part of Booktube, more so than enjoyment. But everything else is fair game. I love doing everything else.
Nice. I just noticed that it looks like I've been squinting this whole time, and I just want everyone to know it's because there's a giant light, like right here. It's not really giant, but considering it's only like an inch from my face, it's very bright. So if I didn't have it, it would be like that total darkness. Which it wasn't really total darkness. I just looked like a silhouette, like I was in Antifa or something like that. Good times. Yeah, I keep throwing little like traps out there, and you've been really good.
We are not talking about Antifa. I'm not getting kicked off YouTube, sir.
All right, so something really fun we're doing later. Let's talk about this.
Dude, I told you, that's the other stream.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, never mind. I know what you're talking about now.
He almost did something bad. We are doing Booktube D&D. Dungeons and Dill Holes today, folks. So, this is your brainchild, so why don't you birth it out of your canal right now?
I've never heard it put it's quite so eloquently. Yeah, like just pen and paper RPGs in general have been a big thing going on lately. Mainly because with my writing, I use World of Darkness. It's a pen and paper game, but it's real world monsters and baddies and such. That's how I did my world building. So pen and paper has always been really important. Lately, I've just been more enamored with getting into D&D. It's more of the generic thing that most people have done, and I just wanted to give it a try. But it's really hard to get a group of people together in real life. So I talk to you guys pretty much every day anyway. So it's like I want to get a D&D game on the go. So that's what we've been doing now. As you know, Bob, we've been doing it for 2 weeks as it is, just offline. So we kind of have the basis, the start of your characters going through. We have one game which is kind of a gothic horror one called The Curse of Strahd, which is that's actually a Dungeons and Dragons book itself. Like that's a pre-made campaign with a pre-generated villain and such. And then the second game is a completely homebrewed world where you guys are, well, you're not far enough into it for me to give too much backstory on that world yet, but it's all made up on the fly, a lot of it on the fly. And yeah, the second game is going to have a lot of subtle nods to Booktube and bookish kind of musings. So yeah, it's D&D. Like, I don't think we need to explain too much about that, or do we?
We're possessed. Real quick, did you just call me Bob, Neil?
As you know, Bob. Yeah.
Okay.
You know that line.
Yeah, just making sure I heard that correctly, Neil.
I like Neil.
Yeah.
Neil's a good name. Strong name.
Yeah.
I can't say as you know without adding Bob. It's ingrained in my psyche now because so many authors talk about the as you know Bobs in their work. So you say as you know, it's like Cartman when you start singing "Come Sail Away." He has to finish it. If someone says as you know, Bob comes to my head all the time.
Dude, I can't think of "Come Sail Away" without that scene in The Virgin Suicides. It's so powerful. Yeah, and as far as role-playing goes, since we're here, I thought I would share. I got a couple more solo games recently on DriveThruRPG from Rawr I'm a Monster Publishing. Okay. And this one, Zombie Death Town, was a lot of fun. Good stuff. So if you're just by yourself and you have like a few minutes to kill on a book, you can just pick these up for like 50 cents. This is Demon House. This was a lot of fun too. This one's really, really simple. And I just folded it up and cut out the stuff and glued it into a book because I was bored one morning. So I'm kind of dumb. But those were a lot of fun. So there's all sorts of fun role-playing stuff that you could find out there for realsies. So this Booktube D&D thing is going to be live for everyone to watch and make fun of us on, correct?
Yes, it is. And I imagine there will be quite a lot of making fun. Because I've story told, because it's a storyteller in Worlds of Darkness. But I DM'd only Worlds of Darkness up to this point, so I'm new to D&D. I've played it a couple times back in like 3rd edition, and this is 5th edition. So I'm new in general as a DM, and pretty much all the players, with the exception of Secondhand Shan, is pretty much new to the game as it is. So it's really like a newbie D&D game. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of just based on what you have done so far specifically, I can tell it's gonna be hilarious for people to watch later. That's
good. I'm glad I could entertain you like a clown. I play a gender fluid bugbear named Honey Badger, who is a rogue. So, if that doesn't wet your whistle, I don't know what will.
Who, in the last game we played last week, he basically at a trial where they were on trial for misdoings, offered up, I will fix this problem, or I will bring back her head, talking to the other character, which would be Britt, who's in the chat right now, apparently. So yeah, he literally offered up Britt's head as a compensation for if they fail. It was terrific.
Yeah, I'm pretty awesome when it comes to throwing people under buses. So that's pretty good. Speaking of throwing people under buses, what do you think of Wizards of the Coast and all of the drama about banning people and stuff?
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Oh, you mean Roll20, right?
No, I was actually talking about something else, but that's okay.
You're trying to get me into this conversation. You know I'll get myself in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, that's a real thing.
You're like a virgin on prom night.
That's a real thing. I don't mind even talking about that either. The chief, I'm not sure if he's CEO or just programmer or whatever, for Roll20 banning people because he wanted all male games. It's pretty ridiculous.
Have you learned any more about that?
Unfortunately not.
Yeah.
I've been so zonked last night. Basically, I was undead at work last night, so I haven't had a chance to look at it.
Yeah, I tried looking stuff up, and all I found was the stuff that I had already heard. Like, there wasn't anything new or different or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what channel is that on, this D&D thing?
That's going to be, it's just called Booktube D&D.
Boom. And when's that start?
That starts at, there's 2 games. Like I said, the Curse of Strahd game is at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And the homebrewed Booktube-inspired one is at 4:30 Pacific time.
Oh, yeah. In the first one, I play a half-orc barbarian called the Baby, who wears a paper human mask to try to take away from his ugly looks. And I found a top hat that fits perfectly. So as you can see, this game is also amazing.
and don't forget to lead here. You're a recent homeowner now.
Yeah, I'm a homeowner. We because of me throwing everyone under the bus, we killed some children ghosts that owned the house, and now I have the deed. So I have a feeling that there's just one more challenge I have to overcome before I could start putting up wallpaper. So we will see.
Yep.
I wanted to hang glide off the top of the building, but you can't always get what you want. But I also found a dolly, and I tied it around my neck, and I named it Georgie. So pretty much everything's coming up. Thumbs up for the baby.
Oh yeah, the baby's doing well.
Yeah. Lots of other people are close to death, though, but I'm doing super.
Is it also worth mentioning that during the big fight that you guys had, the baby was so antagonistic towards the monsters that Zane, the cleric, would come in and basically said, "You know what? I'll heal you, but you need to go wait in the corner."
No, I had to wait in the hall.
Oh, the hall. That's right. And, you had to wait inside.
I was still shooting arrows in, so I was okay. But I was a little. I felt a little left out. That nobody wanted the barbarian in the battle.
The one that started the fight.
Yeah.
In the first place.
And now I have to walk in between Zane and Britt. I'm not allowed to be in the front or the back. Because I touch stuff.
You have to be watched until there's a fight.
Oh my god, it's so funny. Alright, so, and that's the first one's at what time? 1:30?
First one is 1 Pacific, which is 4
like an
Eastern.
hour. Like an hour from now.
Yeah, pretty much an hour.
Yeah, I'm called the baby because when I was born, there's some backstory there, but I wasn't given a name, and I was like put into a little hut, and they just referred to me as the baby, or like a little shack, and that's the only name I ever knew.
Really? See, that's the in-game reason why you called him the baby, I'm pretty sure, but I know the truth. You have one character called the baby, you have another character called Honey Badger. You just wanted me to keep calling you baby and honey all day.
Yeah. That's it.
I know.
I haven't seen Baby Driver. That's the one with the earbuds, right? Like the guy has to listen to music all the time. That's a question from Ryan Garrison. I think that's the movie. I haven't seen it. But yeah. Yes. Okay. Is that movie any good? Is that something I should actually watch? I wasn't turned on by the trailer, I guess. Although, have you seen the trailer for, I think, Upgrade is what it's called, sir?
I haven't. No.
It looks pretty action-packed, if you like things packed with action. You saw the movie or just the... Oh my gosh! Okay, cool. The movie's good. I'm taking your word for it. You could have, like, seriously said it was shit, and I still would have wanted to see it. So, okay, good. Upgrade's great. So, what are you reading right now?
Let's not talk about it. Actually, I haven't read anything in the past. Since last time I read something was last time I did a Booktube video. But I am going to be picking up The Glass Thief by John Ryers, because I'm pretty sure that's the next buddy read me and Britt are going to do. He's an indie author as well that I know. I think that's it. I can only read one book at a time.
What kind of book is that?
It's a fantasy. As far as I know, it's high fantasy. I read the first chapter when he sent it to me, and this is going to probably upset some Sarah Maas fans in the room, but it struck me as Throne of Glass with a male protagonist, but written competently. So I'm actually pretty excited to get to it.
Didn't you say Throne of Glass was complete shit? Did I hear that right?
Throne of Glass is the single worst reading experience I had the entire time I was doing Are We Not Entertained. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's been overcome yet. I don't think that's been replaced yet. I'm pretty sure it was. The selection was a close second.
I can't remember the worst book I've read lately. That's good. That I haven't found anything totally crappy. Yeah, Brit's taste is awful.
Yeah, which works well for a group designed to read fiction you're not expecting to enjoy. So yeah. She's done the job. It's like, okay, the thing with Throne of Glass, and I again use this example over and over again, but this example fits the entire story, and it's why it's the best succinct way to tell you what's wrong with it. You have Selena Serdothian. She's the world's greatest assassin, such a badass. Nobody can mess with her. She's so amazing at everything. They spend the whole book telling us this. We never actually see it. But the opening of this book is she's in this like salt mine or prison kind of encampment, and she's been there for a year, and it's the worst hell that she's ever been through. She's malnourished, she's beaten, she's like completely broken down, barely a person when she's introduced. And then she's brought to this whole game thing, which is the plot of the book. She's chosen to be one of the champions in this competition to become the assassin for the king, blah, blah, blah. The first moment they get to the palace, she's eating porridge. And the narration is basically she's upset about the porridge or oatmeal, whatever it is, because it doesn't have enough sugar. It's really bland. Oh, but she'll eat it anyway. She literally just had a year of hell, like the most worst circumstances, living conditions you can think of, but she was upset that her breakfast it was bland tasting. Does that make much sense to you?
No, but it also doesn't make much sense to me that the book is telling you that this character is the best assassin in the world, because if she was the best assassin in the world, no one would know who she is.
Yeah, I didn't go on from the first book, but I think they hint at this idea of she was betrayed or something, which I think it comes out later. But yeah, the prose tells you all these amazing things she can do, and when she enters the room or like she's looking around, she's like, "Oh, there's 2 guards. I could take them, do this, and go, and just be out of here." But then she doesn't do it. So she's always telling you things that she could do, but she never does anything. Most of the stuff in the book, the action stuff, is off camera.
That's weird.
Yeah.
What do you think of Theon Greyjoy?
She's alright.
Nice.
I know Brit's in the chat, that's why I'm not going much further than that.
Alright. Well, so in an hour, we're going to be dungeoning. So make sure you run over to Booktube D&D and subscribe to a channel with no content. And we will put some content up in just a little bit. And ring the bell for notifications, because if you're not me, you will get that notification. So maybe I just need to update my phone.
Dude,
I'll probably
do that. We're 6 subs away on Booktube D&D from 100.
Oh my gosh, we almost have 100 subscribers with nothing on there. That is sexy. So
that is that we deserve to, or sorry, Sam deserves a big thanks for that.
Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, right?
Sam from Sam's Nonsense, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Sam from Thoughts on Tomes. I'm sorry.
Not gonna work. Not gonna work.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and split. So, I was only just invited to a D&D game yesterday, so this will be. Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, totally. Because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. So
I was gonna say, don't take it as law, because we're kind of mucking our way through it ourselves. But you get the gist of it.
Everything I do in the game is gospel. So just pay close attention to what I do. It'll be fine.
Oh, God. You know what? I'm not even going to correct that. Just do that. This world would be a lot more interesting if more people acted like the baby in Honey Badger.
Okay, everybody. Devin, thanks for hanging out. And we'll have another episode of this next week or the week after. So, bye everybody. Thanks for hanging.
See you.
Church of the Babies. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Okay. Hang on. My computer's acting up. I can't end this stream.
It doesn't want it to end.
It's the stream that never ends.